All right, so let's try our hands with HTML and CSS. Okay, so the beginner's tutorial is taking place on this channel, but in here, for intermediates, let's try our hands, or let's warm up with this. This is not going to be a full web page. Okay, it's just a hero section with a navigation bar, and this is not responsive. We are just warming up. I'll bring you more tutorials on that, so let's jump in. Okay, so we looked at how to install VS Code in this video right here. Okay, and in that video we created a folder called Web with Cook. All right, if you don't have that folder, don't worry, let's create a new folder. And frankly speaking, I don't like how my PC automatically changes its wallpaper without my permission. Anyway, kindly subscribe. So right click and go to new folder. Okay, you can say projects. Let's make it web project. Okay, web pros, and let's go into this folder, and in this folder let's create a new folder, okay, called p1. That's project 1. All right, and let's open this. Let's create another folder again. This one, let's make it images. Okay, images folder. Then let's create another one called fonts, because we are going to use our own fonts. Okay, all right. So if you may ask, what fonts are we going to use? Okay, we have check this video's description for the link to the resources that we are going to use, and in the zip file you'll find Geroy fonts. Okay, so make sure you download them, and for the fonts, place them here, extract. Okay, so I'm going to select this guy and extract here. So after extracting the fonts here, just step back, and in the same zip file, after extracting, you see images. Okay, so I have mine here, so extract those images in the images folder that we've created. Okay, the link to the resources is in this video's description, kindly check that out. Okay, so after placing the images and the fonts, let's go to VS Code. Okay, now let's go to file, open folder, and let's locate the folder that we created on desktop called the Web Pros. Okay, so it's here. Double click to open it. Okay, and the p1, select the folder and it will open. So it's a blank folder with no document or no file in it. Okay, so if you have the latest VS Code, you can close this guy, and the welcome, close it. Okay, good. So this is the folder. We have the folder over here, the p1 folder, and we need to create an HTML document. So this guy right here, the plus, the first guy, new file, click that and type index.html. okay, all right, after that hit enter. It will create the HTML document, and let's create another file called style.css. okay, style.css, hit enter. Okay, that one also pop up over here, and after that we can hit Ctrl B so that we get rid of that guy. So now we got the HTML here and CSS here. Okay, so on this CSS document, hover on the name, right click, and you see split right. Okay, so it will come over here. You have the CSS here, and we can close it from here, and we have the HTML on the left, CSS on the right. So when you hover on this line, you can drag this guy here. All right, and the last thing that you need to do is open Google Chrome. Okay, right now in the HTML, let's use the shortcut. And in this video, we are not going over anything over here, we are just doing it. Okay, for those of us who got some knowledge in HTML and CSS, this is for us. So if you're a beginner, you can follow along and just have this project down. Okay, but when it comes to starting from the basics and everything, we are doing that on this channel. Okay, and you can find the link in the description. All right, so let's quickly grab the HTML document format. Shift+1 on the keyboard, it will create the exclamation mark, hit enter. You have this. Okay, everything here was explained on the channel, okay, in a video on this channel, so kindly check that out. So let me increase the size for visibility. Okay, all right, so in the head tag, let's link the style document. Okay, so let's just type link, hit enter. It will create this for you, and style.css, it will pop up. That's one thing I like about VS Code for quick coding. So we've linked that. Now let's come to the let's come to the body. It's always advisable to comment your code. Okay, so control/, you have a comment like this. We can say hero section so that we know that we are in the hero section. Shift plus alt on the keyboard and use the down arrow key. You will duplicate this. So let me just shift this guy so that we have enough room. Okay, for me, I can close the, okay, I won't close that. Anyways, let's maintain this for visibility. That's why I've enlarged the text. So when you use Control+Enter, you will create a new line. Okay, all right, so let's start. And in VS Code, if you know about class and CSS, this is for those with knowledge. Okay, so let's start with dot hero section. Okay, so hero underscore section. All right, hit enter. It will create a div with a class hero section, and hit enter. Let's open this and let's go for another. So we got the hero path. Okay, hero underscore path. Good. So let's leave this guy and control enter. Let's come to the next line. Now let's have some header. Okay, so let's type header, hit enter, open this up. Okay, so in that one, let's create a comment. Navbar. Okay, navbar, duplicate this, shift alt plus the down arrow key. It will duplicate and add ends. Okay, so navbar ends so that you can read through. Now let's create a new line over here, and now let's have some div class called brand. So dot brand. Okay, hit enter. You have a brand. Now hit enter to open this up. And image, let's go for image. So the source, we will get the source from the image, but before that, let's keep that. We will add it later. So in the alt here, okay, click here and say brand logo. So what this thing does is, if your website couldn't load properly, it will tell the image will break, the thumbnail will break, and you will see this brand logo, which tells you that okay, this is the brand logo, even though the site couldn't load it up. All right, so that is that. Now let's click here, and in caps, let's say brand logo here. Okay, let's make it brand name. Okay, brand name here. All right, good. Now let's come here and create a new line. Okay, so let's start with a nav. Hit enter, open it up. So let's take a preview over here, not in the website. Okay, what we are coming to do. So we have the brand name over here and the nav links. Okay, with a button. So in the code, what we have here is the brand. Okay, so this div right here is the brand, and the image will be this image right here. We will insert it later. So the brand name here is this. Now we are coming to create this home menu button about whatever links over here. Okay, so that is what we are going to do, and their container is the nav. So in the nav, we have on other list. Okay, open this on other list up, and we are going to create the list. So we have the home menu about us, and in VS Code, what we can, or in HTML, what we can do is say li, and then we have a link in the a. All right, and we can say home, and then go ahead, use the shift alt and down arrow key to duplicate, and then you can change. But in VS Code, we can use a shortcut. Okay, and if you learn these things, it will help. So we go for li. How many li's do we want? On this, we have 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so we want 5 list items or links. So li asterisk 5. Okay, and in this link or link item, there should be a tag. Okay, so we go for li times 5 and greater than a, which means insert this a tags in each li tags. Okay, so after this, just hit enter, and you have the 5 over here. Okay, li times 5, and in each li we have a. So we can now have home over here. You can type home, come over here, and the next one is menu. All right, just like that. Okay, so one thing about coding is that make sure you are typing in the right places. Okay, don't type here. If you type here, you get certain things. Okay, so type where I'm typing. After this href, okay, and the closing tag you just type there for beginners sake. Okay, for those of us who know something, you know what you are doing over here. So we are done with this. All right, and let's add a button. So the button will come after the nav. So click here and hit enter. Now let's go for button with a class. So in VS Code, if you want something, an element with a class for beginners, please kindly go through the beginners tutorials on this channel, please. So if we want button with a class, so you go for button, okay, dot, and then you add the class name. So for this class name, we are going for hero btn, sorry, nav btn. So nav underscore btn. Okay, hit enter. You have a button underscore. So you can say order now. All right, order now over here. So now with this, okay, with this, just hit Control S on a keyboard to save. Now on this index.html document, right click and you can see copy path. So we copy this path and then open Chrome. All right, and in the URL paste what you copied, Control+V, hit enter. All right, so we have this. So you should have this. If you don't have this, kindly pause this video over here and make sure you have what we have right here. Okay, make sure you have the same settings. I've been in your shoes before. Watching the YouTube tutorials could be annoying, but you know, I've taken my time. Kindly make sure you have this set up, and if you just paste it in, save and open it up here, paste and load up, you should have this. So if you are here, kindly say yay and hit the subscribe button if you are new here. All right, so let's continue. All right, if we are continuing, then let's finish with the header. Okay, the header, I mean, let's finish with this and the background before we move on with this. We serve good food and stuff. Okay, all right, so let me just close this guy up here. So I'm now on HTML. Okay, I don't want to open it at the right so that it might confuse you or something. Okay, so we are in CSS. So let's start. I'll start with asterisk, okay, and curly brackets. So whatever goes in here simply means it will affect every element on the page. So box sizing, we will go for border box, okay, and margin, we are stripping margin out of every element. Padding too, we are taking padding out of every element. Good. Now let's start importing the fonts that we want to use. So to use our own fonts, we are starting with art, okay, and font face. Okay, so the suggested one, hit enter, you have this. So in the font family field, the font that we are going to use is Gilroy Black. So in here we have the Gilroy Black. That's what we are going to link first before we link the regular and then the bold. Okay, so let's have a single quote and type the Gilroy Black. Okay, that's the Gilroy Black. This is the name that we are going to refer when we want to use the font. But to link this in here, we go for double quotes, okay, and fonts, type fonts. The folder it will suggest the folder. Click the folder and choose black. Okay, the font black over here. Hit enter. Okay, that is that. We've linked the first font. Now let's copy this, copy, and then have some space over here and paste it. So the next one that we are going to link is the Gilroy regular over here. So let's link it. Let's change the name here because that's what we will use to refer regular, and we can delete this, okay, in the brackets over here and type another one, and fonts suggest, hit enter, locate through for the regular. The regular is somewhere here. Okay, that is that. And let's link the bold to copy, come down and then paste. Okay, and the bold, let's select this and change this to bold. Okay, and let's delete this and then go for fonts. Now the bold is here. All right, so we are done with linking the font. So you should be having this. Okay, make sure you don't leave comma or semicolon. Make sure you have the same thing, else it might not work for you. Okay, now let's begin with the hero section. So we are targeting the hero. Okay, this guy right here, it has a class hero section, so that's what we are targeting. So dot hero section. All right, so in this hero section, let's give it a width, and the width is going to be 100 viewport width. what's the viewport. When you come to Chrome, this is the viewport. Everything that you see on your PC, okay, the size or the dimensions or the dimensions of your PC, that's the viewport. Okay, so if it is from left to right, that's the width, viewport width, up and down, viewport height. Okay, so that is that. And max height, the maximum width, max width rather, the maximum width it can go. Okay, so viewport width. Okay, now let's go for heights. And 100 viewport heights. This is just hero section, that's why we are making it this way. Okay, all right, now let's go for background image. So we have background image over here, and if we check over here, you can see that the background image is black, but there is an image in there blurred out and a gradient black, whatever, black gradient on it. That's what we are going to do. So we have to type the linear gradient first. So background image linear gradient. Okay, and it has 4, so 0, 0, 0, 0.9. okay, you have 4 figures, 0, 0, 0, and then 0.9. all right, so one thing that we can do is, let me undo this, okay, and hit enter to open this bracket up so that we can have good code over there. So RGBA, all right, and brackets and 0, 0, 0, and .9. That's the opacity of the gradient. Okay, now come here, add comma, hit enter. Let's go for the RGBA again. Okay, and same figures, but the opacity we have to change it. This one will be 0.4, okay, or 0.4, just like that. Okay, now let's come here. Okay, let's click here and add a comma over there, URL. Okay, and double quotes images. This, we are locating the images, so we are choosing the hero background too. Okay, that is that. Now let's scroll down. Okay, hit enter to come to the next line. Let's choose background size cover. Okay, and the background repeat, let's say no repeat, and we have background what position, let's say center. Okay, and the color for the text that will be on the hero should be white, so you can go for hash ff 3 times 3ff, it will be white, or you can type white. Okay, we are good. So make sure you have the same thing over here. If you leave a comma out, you might not see it, yours might not make, there wouldn't be any change. So make sure you save it. Okay, come to HTML, Control S to save here too. Now let's go and have a preview. So you should have this. If you don't have this, then there is something wrong with your code, so kindly go through and make sure you have the same thing. Okay, so now if you are continuing, we are coming here. Okay, so click this and let's have a space down here. Now we are creating this white shape over here. Okay, as for this one, for beginners, even intermediates, you might not understand this hero path or that shape over there. We are not using SVG, we are using line path. Okay, clip path, sorry. Anyway, so you see we have a div over here called the hero path. When we were creating this, there's nothing in it, that's the shape. Okay, so let's come to the CSS and let's target it. So you can even copy the class name just like this, copy, and then you add dots, paste it. Okay, all right, so with this one we have position. The position is going to be absolute. Okay, all right, and the top, type top, is going to be 0, and the left 0. You have the width. Okay, so the width is going to be 100%. It's going to take 100% of that, and the height is also going to take 100%. And we have a background color. Okay, you can make it white. Cool. All right, and this is where it gets crazy. So clip path. Okay, we have clip path over here. So type polygon. In this, just copy what I'm typing. Okay, you might not understand, I will explain later, or on this channel, on the tutorials or beginners channel, we will explain that. Okay, but for this we are just adding this up. Okay, so it goes like 40% spacebar, 100% comma, 100% 0 comma, 100%, 100% comma, 0, 100% over here. Okay, I almost left that out. All right, so let's come to the next line, and the Z index over here, make it 0. Okay, Z index is just like in Photoshop, bringing a layer on top of the other. All right, so that is that. Now let's check the preview. So make sure you have this. Let's check. Let's refresh. We will have our path over here. Okay, so just like we have it over here. Now let's spread these guys up there. If you are here, okay, if you are here, congratulations, and let's continue. All right, so the next thing is header. We are targeting the header. Okay, so header. All right, so within the header we have the width, and if you check here, you can see they don't start from the edge. There's a line, a guide over here, so that is the width. Okay, so the header is not 100%, it doesn't fill over here, so there's a space here, there's a space there. That's because of the width. So the header width, that's the container of the nav, width is going to be 80%. Okay, 80%, and the height is going to be auto, and margin going to be auto. So let's save this and go and have a preview. Okay, so you know it will shift over here, and there is a space over here too, because we used margin auto to center it. Okay, so there's the 80%. Now let's go for padding. All right, so that's the padding right there, and we are going to use flexbox to, you know, display the nav bar. Okay, so let's go for display. All right, and flex. Okay, so if I save and come and refresh over here, you can see we just align them in a row. Okay, all right, so let's come to the next line, justify content, flex end. Okay, and align items center. Okay, and we go for position relative Z index 1. Okay, so if you go to the browser and refresh, you know, we just bring all of them to the right. All right, now let's come back. So we want the brand name to be here on the left side, so we are going to choose let's start with the brand. Okay, let's start targeting the brand. So in the index, where is the brand? We have the brand. Okay, there's the brand div elements. So let's start dot brand. All right, so in there we just need only margin right and set it to auto. Good. So now if we go to the browser and refresh, it comes here. Good, that's all that we want. Let's go back. So now let's target the li elements. Okay, so we go for nav, we target the ul and then li. Okay, so in there the display should be inline block. Okay, we are aligning them horizontal, in a horizontal row. So if I refresh, they are in a horizontal row. Good. So we have the margin right for them, each item. Okay, so that will be 30 pixels. So for the font size, let's make it 18 pixels. Okay, the default is 16, but let's make it 18 pixels. Let's go back and refresh. All right, so we got them over here. Okay, now let's go ahead, and the links in there, you can see each li item, there is a link in there containing the home. All right, so you can copy this whole thing and then paste it down here. Okay, and then just add a over here, since we are targeting the list in there. Now let's delete whatever is in there, and let's add text decoration. Okay, text decoration is going to be none, and the color, let's make it white. Okay, so I'll go for ff, save. Now this margin right 30 pixels, font size 18, it's gonna add. Okay, it's already added. So the text decoration is going to remove the underline from each text and make it white. All right, so the font, I think it is Roman, so we will change it in the body. Okay, so don't worry about that. Let's just continue with the nav button. So the nav button, the class is nav btn. You can copy that. Okay, and let's start dot paste nav button. So for the nav btn, we have padding. Okay, we are going for padding, and the top and bottom will be 9 pixels, and then left right will be 25 pixels. All right, for that. Now let's go for border, because nav they always come with border, so we are going to set it to none. Okay, if you type, you can save, and if I don't do the review, you can save each thing that we do, then you know what changes in there. But sake of time and this YouTube video to take quite long, so border radius. Okay, let me save this, and this right here, it will expand it. Okay, increase the space around this order now button, and then it will take away something out of it called border. So we are going to round the radius just like a rounded rectangle, so border radius for that one, and we are going to make it 20 pixels, and we are going to add font weight to increase the thickness of the text on the button. Okay, so let's go for font weight, and the last thing is background color. So now let's save and go to the browser and check. All right, so we got this. Now what we are left with is this logo right here, and then we come to this. All right, so let's go back in there, and in the index.html, you see the brand, the image over here. For the source, we didn't include it, but we are going to do so because I have the image over here. Okay, so that's what we are going to use. So let's type images, this pops up. Okay, and let's locate the Anita's PNG. Now step outside here and say width. Okay, 50, make the width 50. Step outside, height 50. Okay, so let's go save, control save. Let's go to the styles, and let's come to the brand. Okay, under the brand, let's say display, flex. Okay, and align items, let's make it center. Okay, good. All right, so that is that, and let's come here and let's add styles to this image. Okay, so after the link, you can say style. All right, and let's give margin rights to that, so let's say 20 pixels. So let's go to the browser and check. All right, so refresh, you have our brand logo over here and brand name, so we will tweak this. All right, so let's go back there, and in the body, okay, in the body style, let's add style font family, and let's just add our font family in the Gilroy and black. Okay, no, this one will be regular. All right, save it and let's refresh it. So we got our Gilroy. So let's make this simpler. Okay, you see this header right here, this is the header. Okay, so hover over here, you will see click to collapse the range. Okay, so on the line or horizontal, come closer to the number. Okay, you will see an arrow over here, click it, and you will collapse the header. It's like, you know, you are collapsing it so that things become, the code becomes cleaner. Okay, so at the end of this header tag, let's start the hero section over there. Okay, the main hero. All right, so under this, you can leave spaces if you want to make your code easier to read or something. So let's start with the hero container. Okay, the main thing that's gonna contain everything on the hero section. So hero container, and then let's open it up, and then let's add 2 divs. So we have the hero text. Okay, it's going to be on the left side, and then let's duplicate this and change this and say hero image. Okay, all right, so now let's open this hero text. So we have our h1 elements, and we are going to say we serve good food. Okay, all in caps. So we, and under this we have a p tag. Okay, a p element. So we just need a random text in there. So in VS Code, you can say lorem and add the number of words you want. So if you type lorem 30, hit enter, you will have 30 random text. Okay, placeholder text. All right, so that's that. Now under the P, so this is the end tag for the P. So under it we have button. Okay, so you can say button and the hero section, hero btn. So button dot hero btn. Duplicate this and you can say btn2. all right, and let's come to the div, hero image div. Okay, and img, and the source, let's go into our images folder and look for the f1.png, fi.png. okay, you can ignore the alt. Okay, save, and let's come to the browser and refresh. Okay, so this is what we got. No CSS, so this is how it will look. So let's quickly go and add the CSS and let's close up. But mind you that this, we are going to change this. Okay, we are going to modify it to, that will be the last thing we will do. All right, so let's head to, make sure you have everything like this. Let's go to CSS. Okay, and let's target the hero container. All right, so we can go for dot hero underscore container. Okay, all right, so in there the position is going to be relative. So let's go for position relative, and z index is going to 1. Okay, width, we are going to make it 80%. Height is going to be auto, and then display, we are going for flex. Okay, because we just need to split this. This one has to come here and this one has to be here. Okay, just like we got over here. Good, so let's continue with that. And so the justify content is going to be space between. Okay, there's going to be space between the image and then the text on the left side. All right, so let's take away margins. Okay, so we are going to say margin 0 and then auto. Okay, no margin on the left side and it's going to be auto. All right, so save, make sure you got these things. Okay, don't make any typos or any mistakes in there. All right, so let's refresh, and we got this one right here and we got this over here. So there is nothing in the button, that's why it is like this. We will fix that. So let's continue with that. All right, so let's target, the next thing that we are going to target is the hero text. But before that, let's go to the index and these buttons. Okay, hero buttons, there are nothing in there. So the first one that we are going to add, I think, is order now and then our story. Okay, so we got order now and then we got our story over here. All right, so after refreshing, our buttons will appear nasty just like that. All right, we are going to start them up in here. Good, so now let's target the text on the left side. So flex basis, when you add justify content, when you add display flex, okay, you have to decide what size or the number of columns each div element in the I know you won't get it anyway. Let's continue. For those who have knowledge in flexbox, they can. Anyway, so let's go for hero text. Okay, hero text, we will explain everything in the beginners tutorial on the channel, so kindly make sure you be there. So flex, okay, flex dash basis, we are going for flex basis, and it's going to be 40%. And what this means is that if I come over here, okay, in the hero container we have two div elements, that is the hero text, okay, and the hero image. So there's the one div text div element, one another div, so there are two. So the two div elements are occupying the space, okay, this whole space over here. So how many columns do you want this? We serve good food together with the everything, the text here. How many columns do you want them, or what percentage do you want them to occupy? 40%, so it will be here. How many percentage do you want this one to also occupy? We will input that. That's all about the flex basis. Okay, So let me expand this. Let's come back here. So that's 40% for the text on the left side. Okay, and for the margin top, okay, let's go for 8 rems. 8 rem. All right, good. Now let's come back and refresh. We got this one right here, margin top, and the margin top is 8 rem. Good for that, and the flex will be 40. Now let's target the hero image. So the dot hero image underscore image, right? So the width, the flex basics, this one is also going to take so the flex basics, this one is going to take 50%. Okay, so of the image is bigger than, and the margin top, it is also going to be 4 rem. All right, so let's save that and let's continue with that. So let's target the image itself. This one, the hero image, is this element, okay, not the image itself. So let's target the image itself. All right, so we can say dot hero image and then img elements in there. Good. So with that, the width is going to be 100%. It's going to take the whole width of the hero image container, and then the height, is going to be auto right there. Okay, so let's refresh and take a look. All right, so now let's style this. All right, so let's target the h1 element, which is the biggest text on. So let's just say h1 because it's just one h1 element. So font family, so the font family, we are picking Geroy black. Okay, so we go for a Geroy black because we chose to use it anyway. So font size, for the font size, let's make it 120 pixels. Okay, and then now let's save this and refresh in there. So we save good food, but the mistake that I made is this: we have to make this thing small caps. Okay, all small caps. We save good food. Okay, this is how it should look, not all caps, please. We save good food. Okay, so in that way this will just be like this. Okay, so that's what we want anyway. So let's continue with this. So under the h1 we have line height. Okay, so line height 135 pixels. Okay, and margin bottom down here, margin bottom, that's going to be 10 pixels. Okay, good. So the line height will just close this word up a little. Okay, good. Anyways, so let's style the text below the h1 element, and I think we didn't add a class for that. So this is the p, okay, the lorem ipsum. So let's add a class to that, and the class name, let's make it hero underscore string. Okay, all right, so save it in the HTML and come here, dot hero string. All right, so in there we have a margin bottom, let's make it 40 pixels, and then color dd, so it's d1. Okay, now let's check it out in the browser. Okay, so that's what we got. Okay, so let's add font size 18 pixels. Okay, so I'm not going to refresh this. So let's continue with the, okay, so we have the buttons. So let's target the hero buttons, and in the hero index we got them right here, hero btn and hero btn2. Okay, so let's target both of them. So dot hero underscore btn comma and then btn2. So whatever properties that we put in here, it's going to affect both of them. Okay, so let's start with border radius. So this cursor pointer right here, when you hover on the button, it will change into the pointer icon. Now let's add some animation there. So we'll go for transition and all, and 0.5 seconds. That's the duration, and ease. Okay, so for those on After Effects, ease and all of that. So the border, so let's save and check it out in the browser. All right, so we got this. Cool. Now let's target each one. Okay, so we are targeting the hero btn over here, so copy it and paste it down here. All right, so with this, the background, that's the background color. So let's go for background. Let's just type background. You only need the background. Okay, and we want linear gradients, so you're going for linear gradients and to right, so 2 space right, okay, comma, and input these codes, add comma. So they are the same color. So you might ask, why don't you just make it a solid color, one solid color? We will transcend into a gradient. There will be a transition there. So if it is a solid and a gradient, it might not work because certain browsers treat gradient backgrounds as images. Okay, so it has to be gradient to gradient transition over there. Now let's target the hero button too. So copy and paste it down here and change this to 2. Okay, so the background, we are cleaning this and making it transparent, because if we check over here, this guy doesn't have a background, it is transparent. Okay, so let's add our border, which will be the stroke. Okay, so let's make it 2 pixels solid, and let's paste this guy. Let's copy this and then paste it here. Okay, good. So that is that. Now let's target when we hover on them, but let's save and have a preview over here. All right, so the text in this guy has to change. Okay, so let's come and tweak this. So in the btn2, let's add, or let's make the color white. Okay, no, not white. Let's paste this color over here, and let's come into the btn, both of them, and let's add font size. We didn't add font size over there, so let's make it 20 pixels. Okay, and let's come and refresh. So there should be space over here, and that one we can target this guy. We can target this. What is that? This guy. Margin right. Okay, you can go for margin right and say 10 pixels. All right, so let's refresh and see. Okay, so we got some space over here. If you want more space, you can make it 20 pixels. That one is not my concern. Okay, so 20 pixels. I think 20 pixels is okay. All right, so now what happens when we hover on this? Okay, when you hover on a button, what happens? The color will change. Okay, so now let's target that one. So we can go for the hero btn. That's the first one. So the hero underscore btn, we got it over here. And colon, is this semicolon? No, there's colon. Okay, so colon hover. All right, you're going for hover. So when you hover on this, what should happen? So background will change. Okay, so let's copy this guy's background. So the background, you can copy this and paste it over here. So we have to change the color. So let's change the color from here. All right, so we are picking this color, right? And transform and scale. Okay, so scaling, we are going to scale this 1.05. okay, good. So it will expand a little. Right, now let's target the second guy, the hero, second hero, before we just refresh. You can refresh, but pause the video and refresh, but I'm not doing that. Okay, so btn2, what happens when we hover? Okay, so let's clean this. Let's have a background over here, and the background, let's choose this color. Okay, and we can copy this transform effect over here and paste it down here. Okay, good. So let's go for border, and then border, there should be no border around it, and color, we can make it black. Okay, if it doesn't change to black, we will do one thing. So let's just refresh it and see. So this guy, when you hover on it, it becomes a gradient. Okay, and it scales up, and this guy too gets filled with a color. Okay, right, so I think that is that. Good. Now if we look at the preview, you can see the serve has a different color, and the good also has a different color, and the brand over here. So let's do those things quickly and add this guy over here. Good. So let's come to the HTML and let's go to so we serve good food. Okay, the serve has a different color, so let's select cut and type span. Okay, hit enter. You have a span element over there, and then paste it in, and then in the span open this tag up and style it up. So style, and we are going for color. So let's paste this color over here, and let's copy, or let's select this good. Okay, cut it and span again, and then paste the good in there. Okay, so let's open this up, and then we can copy the style over here and then paste it here. Make sure you don't get confused over here. Okay, it's just the same thing. Good. Now when we come here, we can refresh and they will have their colors. All right, so now let's do the brand name over here. So let's come in and expand the header that we collapsed. Okay, and we can just break it somewhere so that it becomes shorter for us. So at the width, you can just hit enter and it becomes shorter. So let's copy this brand and cut. Okay, and span over here. Let's add a class. So let's add a class, and the class name, let's say brand text. Okay, brand text, and let's paste it inside. Save it, and let's come to CSS and let's target this. Okay, we can take it up here, we can, but let's just do it down here. So dot brand text. Okay, brand underscore text. So with this one, the font size has to be bigger. Okay, so let's go for 25 pixels. Okay, and the font weight, we can say bold. Okay, all right, so let's add padding top. So padding top, you can say 5 pixels. All right, and let's come here, and this guy, the width on the image. Okay, in the image, that's the logo. Let's change this 50 to, let's say, 60, and this guy should also be 60, and let's check it out. Oh, okay, so that's what we got. Okay, so this is cool, we are done with that. Now let's do this guy right here, the blur, this thing over there, and we are done in here. So let's head straight to the body. Okay, the body tag, and let's add overflow and heading. Okay, so that it will strip out anything that exceeds the viewport. Okay, so now let's come to where we have between the hero and then the between the header and then the hero container. Okay, so let's just add image img dot leaf. Okay, you can say leaf, hit enter, and in the images folder you can see we got the leaf over here. So let's just link that. So let's type images, if pops up, and we locate the leaf.png. Okay, save, and then let's come to styles. Now let's scroll up on top of the hero container. Okay, let's look at the hero container. Let's just locate or dot leaf over here and in there just a couple of, so position is going to be absolute. Okay, it will float so that you can move it around. So if I save and then come over here and load, because you got the leaf over here, so we need to bring it here at the bottom right. So in doing that, we are going to use position. So if you use absolute, the position absolute, all right, what comes next is the right. So let's say right, right was the right, negative 200 pixels. So it will just go to the right, negative 200 pixels. Okay, negative 200 pixels. Let's refresh. Okay, it comes in here, and let's bring it down. So the bottom also is going to be negative 200 pixels. Okay, if you refresh, we got it here. So the position, we are okay with that. Now let's blur it up. Okay, so you go to use filter in here. It's not Gaussian blur. We are not going to filter Gaussian blur. Filter and blur, and we are just going to make it, let's say 10 pixels. Okay, 10 pixels, and then save, and we have blur over here. So you can reduce the blur by reducing the pixels over here. You can say 8 pixels. Come and refresh. All right, So that's the end of this tutorial. Kindly subscribe and I'll bring you more tutorials. Okay, so this is Cool Graphics with a Design Chef. Make sure you check the beginners crash course on this channel, and I'm out. Peace.